You know, I had an intro clip for this video series around here somewhere, but honestly, I don't know where I put it. So, welcome to the latest edition of Music and Mocktails, the viewer comments video series of this channel that I really wish I had named something else. But we're stuck with it at this point. Today's frosty beverage consists of this is a mango pineapple strawberry soda that I created, and it is delicious. I am going to post the recipe to this particular frosty beverage, as well as some of the others that I've shared here over on my other channel. The other channel, you might be asking yourself, what exactly in the hell am I talking about? Well, you don't know yet because I haven't launched it, and this is the first that I have said anything about it. I hope to have launched it here in the very near future. As soon as that happens, I'll make sure and let you guys know. But for now, you're just going to take my word for it that it's rather tasty, and I am very much enjoying it. So, without further ado, let's get to some viewer comments. This one here is from Angel Martinez. It says, "Hey, your videos are always cool, man. I have a question. I just bought me a 2021 Gibson SG61 reissue. Have you ever tried one of these? I'm comparing it to my 2021 Gibson Les Paul Studio, which has the 490R 498T. On my Les Paul, I get a louder, fuller sound on the on the 61 SG. They appear to be burst buckers, less output. Thank you for posting this." You know what? The 61 SG, I think, is actually one of the best guitars, but one of the best products, period, that Gibson makes. Or at least at one time it was. I have not had a chance to try any of the newer ones, but back around, I don't know, I remember 2014. I can't, the version they were making in 2014. At that time, it sold for $19.99. They came out with a later version that was actually more inexpensive not too long after that. That was still pretty good. But, 2012, 2013, 2014 anyway. The necks on those guitars were phenomenal. I sold a bunch of those when I was at the store. And honestly, if I were going to buy myself an SG, that's probably what I would try to track down. The 61 SGs are really, really well-made instruments. I don't recall off the top of my head what pickups they were putting in them back then. I don't think it was burst buckers, but I could be mistaken. I do know that Gibson put the 490, 498 set into the SG standards there for a long time, and that is the same pickup set that they at one time anyway put into the Les Paul Studios, probably an older one, which I'm assuming is what you have, and what they still, I believe, put into the Les Paul Customs, which are actually, which are a really, really good sounding pickup set, a little bit higher output than some of their other more moderate output pickups. Regardless, 61 SG. I'm going to assume that the newer ones have a similar neck. I wish they would put that neck on some of their Les Paul models, but the truth is, that's a pretty thin neck, and I don't think it would be supported very well by the big heavy Les Paul body. I'm assuming. But the short answer to your question is yes, I am in fact a fan of the 61 reissue SGs. Awesome guitars. This was from Cody Bell. It says, "Excellent, informative, Robert. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on mods that improve a guitar's basic functionality and subjectively enhance their aesthetics. I have an LTD EC401 QM that came with non-locking Grover tuners. I've since replaced with Tone Ninja locking ones that match the original black/smoked chrome hardware and have the tulip keystone buttons like the ones you find on the higher end EC1000s or modern Les Pauls. It may not add value, but it could be a point of interest for a potential buyer." I've talked about this before, and I mentioned this to you in my reply to you in the comments section, but I wanted to share this with everybody. Modding a guitar is, in my opinion, well, not even in my opinion, the market's opinion, is not going to add any value whatsoever. And the reason why is because those modifications have been made to that guitar at the specification of one person. And that one person is the guy who's trying to sell it. That means that guitar with those specific modifications on it, there is a market of zero for it, which drastically reduces the value on the used market because anybody else, and I'm not saying that you couldn't get lucky and find somebody that wants those exact mods. You can, but I mean the chances of you doing so are few and far between. In the meantime, so assuming we have a market of zero, or a very, very, very few that you may or may not be able to reach, absolutely no way, shape, or form is there going to be any kind of value increase to a modded guitar. an argument could be made if it's a inexpensive entry-level guitar and you pulled out some cheap pickups and you put it in a set of Duncans or something like that. Maybe, but if you're trying to sell that guitar to me, you were asking me to pay for your parts and your labor that I didn't even want anything to do with. And most likely I'm still probably going to end up changing that stuff out anyway. That's from the perspective of somebody that's interested in buying that guitar. Now, I'm generally speaking, I am not a fan of modifying guitars. I've done my share of mods on my own guitars, and I'm gonna do a few more, I'm sure. The Kramer that I just demoed on my channel here a few weeks ago, that one's gonna get a new pickup and some new stuff here in the fairly near future, just cause. But on the whole, I much prefer to just buy my guitars with all of the specs that I want already in it from the factory. John Adams says, the fact is Fender and Gibson will not be in the guitar manufacturing business 10 years from now. They will be in the guitar import business. No, I promise you, 10 years from now, Gibson and Fender will still be in business. Mark my words. They will still be in business 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now. And even if I'm wrong, and both of those companies have dried up in the United States and they have stopped manufacturing guitars here in the U.S. and are only manufacturing guitars overseas, unlike the vast majority of other guitar companies, particularly here, that have U.S.-made instruments, Gibson and Fender own their facilities overseas. Gibson owns the Epiphone factory over in China. All the guitars that come out of that factory in China, that entire factory is owned and operated by Gibson/Epiphone. And in the case of Fender, a large portion of their import guitars are built in the factory in Ensenada, Mexico, just south of their factory in Corona, California, by the way, by about, I think those two factories are like 120 miles apart. The factory in Ensenada, Mexico is also owned and operated by Fender. No middleman, no subcontractor or anything like that. That is a Fender owned and operated facility. So yes, Fender and Gibson will both be in the guitar making business for a very, very, very long time. Crazy Pickles asks, are you that guy from Pawn Stars? Gee, that's original. This comment is from a channel called Disembodied Studios. This is a comment on the 10 most cringeworthy things a guitar player say video. It says, OMG, you stole my video idea, LOL. I literally just released a video 2 days ago on my channel about all the dumb words guitarists use to describe tone, i.e. chunky, dark, brittle, ice picky, etc., and try to make sense of the music EQ talk. This is practically the same. Either you saw my vid when I posted it in a guitar group on Facebook or you subbed my channel. Either way, I'm flattered, but I've got my eye on you, Robbie. Overlooking the fact that you called me anything but Robert, I will, we've already discussed this, but I wanted to share it with everybody because, a video was posted complaining about, accusing me of ripping off somebody else's video idea. And the truth is I'd never even heard of that channel until they commented on this particular video. No offense, I'm sorry, I just wasn't familiar with you. I did see the video, the complaint video about me, and your video may have gone up 2 days before mine did, but the truth is mine had been uploaded for almost 3 weeks before it went live. And there's the screenshot of my channel's analytics on that video to prove it. See how it starts at April 8th, but you don't see any activity on it until April 24th or whatever it was? That's the reason why. Because I had already uploaded it weeks in advance. Meaning that in no way, shape, or form did I take any of my ideas from your video or any other for that matter. Sometimes it happens, two different creators just have a similar video idea. Me and Ryan Bruce actually, happen to put up very similar videos on Use Topic a couple of days apart from each other. I think mine went up first, and after it had been sitting there for been uploaded for a week or two like usual. I don't know how long and how far in advance he uploads his, but it was just two guys that had the same idea for video content. That's all it was. And that's really all this was. But because there was a public video addressing this from Disembodied Studios, which they have since taken down, by the way. But because there was a video about this posted publicly, I wanted to explain myself. And share, more importantly, that, one, I promise I didn't take anybody's video content ideas, and if I had, I would have given credit for it. You know, there's, you know, plenty of times that I post videos in response to other people's videos out there, you know, but I never do that without referencing the original creator and the original video before talking about my response. These next two commenters, Jer Wolf and Omicron Canovid, are two very, very special individuals. Yeah, guys getting into drop/weird tuning should just go out and blindly buy a billion different string gauges instead of simply asking someone else what they use. Your channel is complete laughable garbage. Back in 1992, I always wondered what would happen to the guitar guy at the local shop once progress had its way with them. Now I know. Triggered. What about suck-ass musicians with shit ears who assume everyone else has as little listening ability as they do? I mean, if your ear is so bad you can't hear it, then you're never going to accept the proof no matter what anyone shows you because you can't hear it. Triggered. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that just because a pro does something that it's automatically right. Lots of people make mistakes and they still get paid. Either you're interested in being right or you want a better guitar tone. Pick one. By the way, the reason most people don't give you proof is because it's obvious to us. We hear it, and we don't really care if you don't. You do you. If you can't hear it, then you may as well not be there. Still triggered. The audio is horrible. Video is bad as well, but since this is a musician channel, let's focus on the horrible audio. Why would you put out content that sounds like it was recorded with your iPhone? Also still triggered. You know what's truly cringeworthy? Being some dumpy ex-music store manager / shred dinosaur who doesn't understand new music or physics and who keeps digging his hole after several people call out his moronic and frankly boomerish opinion. Your triggeredness is showing. No, seriously, I'm an old guy too. I haven't played standard tuning for years. Right now I have a guitar tuned to G5, one tuned to D5, and one tuned to B minor. I started using alternate tunings decades ago and came up with the correct gauges for such tunings using your preferred School of Hard Knocks method simply because I don't really have others to look at. Why would anybody today keep it real by ignoring what other guitarists are using for similar tunings and simple buying dozens of strings and wasting days stringing / unstringing? That makes zero sense unless you're more concerned with appearances and creating. The School of Hard Knocks sucks and should be avoided at all costs. Triggered. I know how we can settle this. You should do a video where you take your Jackson and 9 gauge strings and tune down to A minor and it sounds rad or whatever people were saying in 1988. Triggered. None of them sound close to 100%. Have you tried running them through an amp with a decent clean tone? On a positive note, it's hilarious watching those sausages try to dial in those knobs. 3 days later, still triggered. This is a great system for the money. Hey, while I'm here, why are you cyber stalking and harassing me because the audio on one of your videos is atrocious? Now he's triggered on Facebook. AceXXX Oasis says, cringeworthy things guitar players say. Quote, Robert's Guitar Dungeons is a shitty channel. Unquote. That one's actually true. Rudy Corona says, want to support communism. Buy tubes. That may be the dumbest thing I've read yet today. So, that's it. That's the last comment. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me your comments down below. And don't forget to do the YouTube thing. Subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff. And please keep an eye out on the next video, which should be coming to you very, very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Adios.